History repeats itself. It fails to die. You are now tuned into But What Is Life podcast, the ride to relax, relate, and release into reality where things get fun, real, and the advice is unsolicited. Ani here while editing. I know you're probably wondering, girl, what is this? What's going on here? Yeah. I'm coming on here to apologize for the first 36 minutes and 16 seconds because, per usual, I've had some technical difficulties when it came to editing and uploading a new episode for a new week, just like any prior week to today. I would like to apologize because you will not be getting the actual live feed of this recording. You will be getting a montage of photos from the actual recording. But around 36 minutes and 16 seconds is when it will get back to what you're used to, the live feed, facial expressions, all of that good jazz. But if you watch up until that point, or if you finish this here episode, I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
What up? It's your girl Ani, and I'm back to relax, relate, and release into yet another episode of What Is Life. How y'all doing today?
Hey y'all.
And how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Fabulous.
So today's episode is going to be all about growing up.
Growing up.
Now, the inspiration from this video came from a post, of course, on Instagram. And the topic of discussion was about moving out. So we are going to explore all the different aspects of moving out of your parents' house for the first time, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, all of that jazz.
Okay.
So, go ahead and grab your drinks. I have my water.
I drank my water.
She already drunk hers. If you need to grab a snack, pause this and come right on back.
I cannot.
So, going ahead and relaxing into moving out. What age is too old to be living with your parents?
For me, too old. It's personal preference. It's personal preference because I don't see anything wrong with being 40 and living with your parents. As long, because you want to know why I don't see anything wrong with that, because let me tell you why. There's a good reason.
Not 40.
40. I see nothing wrong with that, only if you are staying there because you want to. Some people really like living with their parents. They want to save money. Some people Some people can't afford to live on their own, but they still just rather live with their parents.
Right.
I see nothing wrong with that. And if you really think about it, a lot of times people will live with their parents until a certain age. They get out, get married, and stuff like that. But then when their parents get older, the parents move back in. Or they all live together. So then it's kind of like you still gotta live with your parents. It's just now you kind of taking care of them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see any age as a problem. It is a problem if you
depending on the circumstances.
Right. If you 40 and you can't afford to get you an apartment, then we'll have discussions then. That'll be a problem. But if you can afford to live on your own and still take care of yourself, but you just prefer to live with your parents, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Now, me personally, I feel like at least by like 40,
Mm-hmm. We gotta go.
it's kind of, I don't know. I just kind of feel like what are you staying at your parents for?
They like them.
If you can afford to live on your own, what is that about? Because when I think
Because
about it, it's just like I need my own space.
some people don't care.
Like
Or
trust me, I get that because my mom was basically, like this is your home.
right.
So, stay as long as you need or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, it's just like me, if I'm 40, I can't. And then I feel like I said, circumstantial. So,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what the circumstances are. Now, if I had a husband, hell no, we're not living with my parents. What?
Even when your parents get older,
I mean, but that's a different
it's
story.
different. Okay.
That's a different story. But, I'm in my high primes.
I'm hollering.
She gonna need her space.
I'm hollering. I am
So,
hollering.
me personally, I feel like when you in that 40 to 50 range, it's kind of just like, what are we doing?
I would stay at home if I didn't care about my privacy. I mean, I didn't have big privacy concerns. Honestly, living with my mom, I would have stayed. If I really didn't care about having some privacy, I would still stay at home.
Yeah.
Just because I would have more money in my pocket
And
easily.
I feel like for the people, the older people who have never left the nest, I feel like that's a whole nother issue.
Mm-hmm.
As far as them just being out on their own and stuff like that, it's just like, what can we dive deep into that? Like, what's going on?
Maybe they, a lot of cultures feel like you shouldn't move out until you get married.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
And if
I
you
don't
don't get
know.
married till you're 42, then we move out at 42.
I don't know. That's just kind of weird because it's like 40, you grown.
I'm grown now.
I mean, yeah, we grown
I got
now,
bills.
but at the same time, I would not feel if I was staying at home with my mom or whatever, it would just, or my uncle, because that was my situation when I got here. But that was basically because they told me, no, this is what you're doing. You're not about to just make a permanent decision and you don't really know the lay of the land yet. But it's just like by 40,
I would move back in.
I would be ready to.
I've thought about now moving back in with my mama if I didn't renew my lease.
Really?
Yes, I really don't like spending money on bills.
I mean, of course, nobody likes to do that.
No.
But at the same time, I don't know. I get a sense of
independence.
Not
freedom.
Necessarily independence. It's more so like a gratitude thing to be able to pay my bills.
Oh no. I would be happier with the money still sitting in my account.
I mean, of course, anybody.
I know, right? It's just those be the thoughts. I'm like, ooh, I gotta pay the cable bill again.
Right.
That could have still been in my account. Like it's just stuff that I really was excited to do as a child. As a grown person, now that I'm doing it, I'm like, it wasn't all that cracked
It's not all that it's cracked up to
I didn't
be
feel
at
like
all.
driving. I'd rather have a driver.
Okay.
I
really hate driving.
I'm like, these are things.
But I like having my car because if I need to get up and go whenever I need to get up and go.
But if I could have a driver that I could call on demand, I would. Like I always tell people, if I ever really made some money, if I had to pick one thing to have, I'd just pick a driver. Just to drive me around. And then if I had got two things, to be a driver and a chef.
A chef would definitely be clutch.
Yes.
Okay, so does staying at home with your parents until you meet a savings goal really help, or does it give you a sense of false hope?
Oh no, it totally helps. Totally, because rainy days are real.
Yes, they
Rainy
are.
days are real, baby. Save your goal, do your goal, hit your goal, and
Mm-hmm.
then move. Because rainy days come through, and you gonna need that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, me, I feel like it's kind of like a teeter totter. Like, of
Mhm.
course, it's always great to have that money saved.
Mhm.
If if anybody feel you, I feel you. When it comes to putting my money away, oh, I will hold on to some money.
Yes. Put it to the
But
side.
I feel like, okay, so say your goal is $10,000, but
Okay.
say you got your rainy day fund plus your moving expenses in
This
that.
is all in the 10.
Yes,
Okay.
that 10 is gonna go real quick.
Damn,
Just
what they doing?
Well, no. I'm saying as far as it's going to start depleting real quick once you start taking all the stuff out that you need to move for the moving expenses. I feel like your cushion ain't gonna be a
It should be. It should still
a
be
thick
cushion.
cushion.
It should. I mean, I don't know how much are people paying to move because I think I paid $200.
No, I'm talking about getting furniture, all of that.
Oh, see, I'm land of the cheap.
Because me personally, I would say if you are going to save, of course, everybody's situation is
It's
not
different.
set up to where
Mm-hmm.
you're able to, sit and stack your money. But but in that case, I would say have the rainy day fund and the moving expenses separate.
I wouldn't, because I feel like I'm the type of person that as long as I got a bed, I can get the furniture later. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have the whole house set up as soon as I move. When I moved in my apartment, I didn't have everything set
Mm-hmm.
up. I had the base, I had a bed, I had a couch, I had gotten stuff that a living room TV. Like I had some stuff there,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have like any real decor
Yeah.
until it took me months to accumulate all the side tables and the this and the
But you know
that.
what? I feel when it comes to that, you're always going to be your house is never finished for real.
Oh, my house is
Because
done.
no.
I wish I would buy another plant.
I'm saying it's never finished in the sense of after a while you kind of get tired and it's like, oh, let me kind of revamp this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you never really done decorating your space. Of course, with like the main things
Mm-hmm.
that will pretty
Probably
much be set
stay.
in stone. But when it comes to like your throw pillows or if you want to change
Right.
something
A
out or
lamp.
whatever, yeah,
Something. Yeah.
I feel like you're never really done with your space. But I would say to do it separately because you have those miscellaneous expenses that just come out of no fucking where.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you find yourself, ooh, let me dip in here, but I'm gonna put it right back, and then you don't put it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep doing that, and it's like, what are
Then you
you
be mad
doing,
at yourself.
sis?
Yeah. Then you be mad at yourself because I've been
No,
mad at
for real.
myself for several things I've bought for sure.
Yes. Okay, so should you pay bills at your parents' while you're staying there?
I should have, but I did it.
I don't think you should.
I could have. I feel like I could have. I knew that I could have, and I feel like I could have paid a bill, like an internet bill or a light bill, something like that. But instead, my contribution to the house was I used to pay for the stuff for the house. So, like, I would pay for detergent, dishwashing liquid, paper towels, toilet paper. So she never had to buy anything in the house. Like, I would purchase all the stuff for the house. But thinking back on it now, I could have definitely kicked like $100 here or something here. She never really requested it from me, but just now that I'm in the position now where I pay bills,
Yeah.
I feel like I could have
Right.
kicked some
I
coins.
I totally get that aspect of it because that's how I really felt like when I was staying at my uncle's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the times that I've stayed with my mom, Never. I never even thought about giving her no money because it's not to say like, oh, that I was just entitled to make that decision, but the way that it was just presented, she didn't want nothing from me. It's like I feel like when you're in that space of, preparing to get yourself together to move out, you're taking away from what you could be saving.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you still have to buy things, that you need like on a monthly basis. Of course my mom wasn't, or my uncle was not making sure I was eating every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I had things like toiletries and stuff like well, I had to do that at my uncle's house because just the way his house was set up, he was he was over here,
mm-hmm.
and I was over here. And he had his own bed, his own bathroom. So it's like he wasn't coming to check the bathroom that I was using.
Mm-hmm.
But at my mom's, it was only one bathroom. So if she saw that the tissue needed to be replenished, she was getting it.
Yeah, see, I had my own bathroom, so I was buying my own tissue and all that. She was definitely not. I do miss the meals. She didn't cook every day.
Oh, now that's one thing my mama definitely did not do.
She didn't cook every day, but it was at least once a week she'd have something going, and I was ecstatic.
See, that was more so my uncle. Like we would actually kind of like tag team. Side note, I used to feel so like if I'm staying with someone, I feel so awkward and out of place. To where when it comes to like cooking and stuff like that, I don't be wanting to do. It's like I don't do it because I be feeling like I'm gonna be in their way. What if they was thinking, oh, I'm gonna go home and cook this, and then I'm in the kitchen.
It's just
like,
oh yeah, I've had that
I just
before.
hate feeling like I'm in their way, kind of thing.
I've definitely felt that. I've lived with my uncle before. I've lived with my friends before. And I've definitely had that same thought of, oh, I don't want to make no food. Or I don't want to feel like I'm using that stuff. They seasonings and stuff
then
like that.
I don't want them to notice something like, oh, till she started using my stuff got messed up. Honey.
She left grease on the stove. Like, it's just too much that could go wrong.
Right, yes.
And it's just a very uncomfortable feeling. Like,
okay, so moving right along. Balancing a relationship while living with your parents. Do you think it is okay to have sex at your parents?
I pray my mom never watches this. I'm not going to send her this podcast. I'm not going to send her this one. I'm not, because you know what I be thinking? Side note, I say that because, I be thinking about like Nicki Minaj and stuff like that, how they be talking like sex and stuff. And I'm like, yo, mama, can't hear you talking.
I'll be thinking about that too. It'd be more so like with like younger people though. Like if they're known
like
to,
Cardi B.
Yeah, like
she's like 23, 24.
Yeah, and it's just like you be around
wet ass pussy.
Yeah, it's like ooh. I mean, they know it happened, but maybe they just don't watch.
I feel like Cardi mama probably deep, probably getting it. She probably up there.
But then you think about it, like her dad be around. Like I've watched like some of her lives where like her dad is around, and she just be.
I could never. I wish I had the gumps to be like that. I don't have that.
I just feel like there's a boundary.
Yeah,
that should be in place. Definitely. Like I can't.
I'm not gonna send her this episode. So yeah, I pray she never looks for this one.
Well, me personally, this is why I feel like at a certain age, you should just be. It's a little bit too much, I feel like, because sorry, like say you getting it in, and your mom comes home. It's like that would just like be a whole total buzzkill. Like puss dry. I mean, that nigga still be ready to go. He wouldn't give a shit. But I know me, it would just be like, what if she can hear me?
I can't.
And then depending on the house, like how the house is set up, what if all the rooms are
That's a definite no. Yeah, that's a total no. I mean, that's a absolute not gonna happen no. No.
I feel like that gets in the way of you being just grown as fuck. Because you got to go out the house every time you decide you about to have some sex.
Go to their house.
Okay, so let's take it to
come to your house.
Hold on, wait a minute. What if he ain't got no house? What if he's staying with his mama too?
The car.
Oh no! Every time.
Movies.
Every time.
Different places.
Oh no! See, that's okay. That is okay when you.
So what you're just gonna not do it? So I'm gonna go pay rent just so I can have sex. Negative. Hell no. I'm not gonna go pay rent just so I can get sex in peace.
Well, no, it's not just so you can have sex. It's so you can do a lot of things. Like
I ain't doing nothing in that house.
To be honest, like I love having my own space. Like if I have to choose, no, I don't want to live with my mom. I don't.
I wouldn't. I'm not opposed. I mean, I like staying alone too, but I mean, at the same time, I wouldn't feel terrible if I had to go back and live with my mama. I mean,
I
my mom let me
if
do
it was
a lot of stuff. Like everybody that knows my mom knows she's like never really been extremely strict with me.
Yeah.
So I could have guys come over and they come to my room and stuff. Like I didn't have it.
See, that would just make me feel like it was teenage years.
I'm going to answer this question.
I'm sorry if I'm snorting, by the way.
I've already snorted, so it's fine. I have indulged in that one time.
At the house?
At the house. And I would never.
Were you just like on eggshells?
It was just. The house was set up okay. Like, she was all the way over there in the front, and I stay all the way in the back. We have our own bathrooms, own rooms, everything. So we're totally separate. But it was like, I didn't even finish. Like, we didn't even finish having sex. Like, I had to stop it because it just was.
What did you say?
I pray he never sees this video. Like, I promise you. What did I say? I think I said just stop or I just can't. I'm good for an I can't. I probably said I can't. This was a while. This was years ago. I probably said I can't or something. I can't remember. But I was very uncomfortable just thinking about my mama in the next room. And you know, what if she heard that slap? You know what I'm saying?
Right, because honey, I love slap on the ass.
Like, what if she heard the body slap? You know what I'm saying? You know, you hitting it from the back and you hear, I'm like, what if she heard that? Like, I can't indulge in that. I could never do that ever again. Like,
she coming.
And then what if she gotta come to the kitchen because the kitchen is coming past my room? So what if she gotta go get this? I couldn't do it. I mean, that was terrible. That was terrible, like terrible.
Oh my God!
But on the flip side of that, this is the crazy thing. On the flip side of that, I have had sex at a man's house, and his kids is there, and I was fine.
Yeah, you didn't give a Ain't my kid.
I was just like, oh, you know, when he would make noise, I cover his mouth like we ain't finna go out like that.
Right.
You know, because I done seen
Calm
your
down.
kid. Yeah, I done seen him, and I don't want him to
I
think
got
my
to do
daddy.
a walk of shame.
I don't want him to think, oh, my daddy in there having sex. No.
Right.
No, not on my account. No. But I had no problems with that, you know, and clearly he didn't either. But me and my parent, oh no.
Yeah, that
I
would
could
just
never.
be,
No.
Oh no, I take that back. No,
See,
it was one time. She was in her room, honey.
Yeah.
Girl.
I couldn't
I was
do
on
it.
that lap. And it was just at the now I will say that it was really like an exhilarating feeling. It was that, ooh, what if she come around that corner?
I would never be able to live it down. It was just like
I was going even hard.
That excited you, you weirdo.
No. No.
That made the thought of getting caught made you feel excited.
No, it was exciting. That's just like if you doing something at the movies, like, ooh, what if we get caught? It's an adrenaline rush.
I don't get that.
But it was making me, you know, go even harder to hurry up and finish. Is what I'm saying as far as like like when I was thinking, oh my God, what if she come around his corner? Like, girl, hurry up and do what you got to do.
Girl, please. I couldn't even think about no orgasm, nothing. I'm through. I also was too aware. Like, I feel like when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have been as aware.
Right.
Or didn't care as much. I'm too aware now as a grown lady.
And then for me, it's like we was in the living room. Like anybody
I was in my room with the door closed and locked.
Oh no,
and we were in the living room. Going in the living room. Oh no,
honey! Anybody could have walked up to the front door, and it's like the glass, so they would have saw.
Cause see, that same dude that I had sex with, his kid was in the house. One time, the kid came out while we was sitting in the living room. And then when he went back, and he sat down with us for a little while, then he went back into his room. And then his daddy had ate me out on the couch. Now, mind you.
When he came out?
No, when the kid went back to the room.
Oh.
Now, mind you, it's not like the kid gave a warning like, hey, I'm coming out now.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? He just walked out the room. So when he was eating me on the couch, I'm sitting there like, what if he come back? Like, you know, I'm like, you have no regard for your own child. Like, you have no regards for your own child.
He gonna see some pussy today.
I'm like, because I don't want him walking out here and he see this. I would scar the child.
Yeah.
You know, no.
I feel like me and they'll just be like, son,
right.
You'll understand one day.
Like, he probably teaching him moves.
Okay. All right, so the next question is,
terrible question.
Should it be a parent's responsibility to set their child up to leave the nest? And I'm talking about, you know, after they graduate high school and all of that. Should the parents set their child up? Should it be the parent's responsibility to set their child up to go out into the real world?
I don't have kids yet, but I feel like I would want to set them up in a way, maybe not necessarily. No, if I could set them up financially, I would. Mm-hmm. If I could, if that was something I was able to do, I would definitely do it just to give them a start off, because I feel like in the Black community, we don't get a lot of that. We
don't even talk about
leaving the nest.
It's more so just funny. Get a job so you can pay your bills.
And I would set them up in a way, like I told my mom this one time. I was like, you know, I feel like as a child, I wasn't talked to enough about credit scores, credit cards, taxes. Like, I would want to set them up in all of that. I would set them up with life insurance. Like, I would want them to be set up in that way, because I feel like white people set their kids up like that.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of them are in the world and they getting houses at 21 and doing stuff like this.
And not even necessarily just white people, like just other cultures, period. Like
Asians,
like Middle Easterns and all of that. Like they really be setting their kids up. Like, no, they be strict. Hell, Nigerians and all the Africans. Except for the African Americans.
Girl, I'm done. You see how I have to just look away like,
honey, because they be like, oh no, do you have this? You need, and then I feel like other cultures, like they really like drill it into their kids' heads, like you have to be either 1, 2, 3, or 4. I mean, when it comes to the different countries in Africa, their top 3 is a doctor, lawyer, or what was the other one? What's the other one?
Engineer, probably. It's not engineer.
I don't know, but I know doctor and lawyer is in there, and it's like they drill that in their kids' head to the point where it's like, I don't want to do that.
Asians too. I mean, Asians are very strict on their children with education. Very. It's like, girl, you ain't getting no A. No, not no B, an A.
So, yeah, I feel like that should be a part of parenting. Setting your kids up for this real world, because if we talk about the black community, we can't wait to throw it in our kids' face. Do you got McDonald's money?
Right.
Do you pay any bills around here?
I say that to my dog.
Okay.
Honestly. I say that to Baxter. I'm like, you walk around here like you pay a bill up in here.
Okay.
Calm down.
Exactly. So it's like in the community we say all these things, but we never really sit down and have the conversation. But of course, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day, because that's just the ignorance.
Yeah.
We don't really know. Now we know the bare minimum. Like you got to have some income coming in so you can pay these bills. But I don't even necessarily feel like in the black community that it's really taught, like growing up as a kid, to even save your money. It's just it was just, especially like that silent generation, our parents, it was just get a job so you can pay these bills. And that was it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even, if I'm going to be totally honest, I wouldn't even want my kid to move out and get an apartment. Like, I wouldn't set up to just get a house.
I wouldn't
because
either.
Apartments really make 0 cents.
You're
seriously. Really
you're throwing money down the drain.
Yeah, like if my child had to wait till they was 25 or whatever so they can get a house, just stay with me so you can just get straight out, get a house. Then you can pay your actual mortgage. This is your home.
Right,
this is your space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it'll be cheaper than you going to an apartment. A lot of times your mortgage is cheaper. So
whatever money that you done saved up in between time, like when you graduated and when you actually move out, that could be your expenses. Like if something happens in the house and it needs to be repaired. But I do feel like as far as setting your kids up, you should definitely set them up on the credit front.
For sure.
Even put away some money for them.
For sure.
So you got money that you put away for them, and then once they actually start working, you really make sure you tell them, like drill it in their minds, like you need to save.
And you can start making them responsible like that
with your money. Yeah.
Piggy banks. I mean, it's so many tools out there to teach your kids.
Yeah, I do that. I do that with Kay. I do that with Kay because it just and even when it comes to like, buying him the things that he needs, whether it be like a new pair of shoes. Well, it's really only with shoes. Like me personally, I feel like I'm not about to go spend $200 for no shoes that he about to grow out of and he gonna tear up in 3 months. No, absolutely not. So when we go to the store, it's drilled in his head to the point where he'll look at a price. If it's over $80, oh, that's too expensive, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really be, planting seeds. And then, as far as the money that he does have, I tell him, like, just because you got money in your pocket don't mean that you need to go spend it.
Mm-hmm.
Quit letting money burn a hole in your pocket.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because
right there.
you just in here buying stuff that you don't even necessarily need. You just buying it just because you know you have the money in your pocket.
And that's a big thing with kids. Kids love to spend money.
Yeah, because they think it fall off of fucking
Mm-hmm.
trees and shit.
Well, they got $1. Where can I go spend that dollar at?
Right.
Like it's immediate.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a kid thing.
I even, I do like the whole borrowing and loaning type of thing with him. He tried to get upset with me one time because he wanted to get something, he didn't have enough money. I said, so now you need to borrow from the bank.
Right.
Me, I'm the bank.
Right.
So when we get back to the house, I'm gonna need you to run me my $550 back.
Mm.
And he just like, why I gotta give you money? Sir, I'm loaning you.
And I'm the bank.
I'm loaning you money. This $5.50 that I just gave you, that's not your money. That's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that I wanted to be nice and help you out because you came up short. If you out here in the real world, if you ain't got all the funds, they're gonna be like, oh, well, you ain't got no product. So now we're gonna go ahead and relate into moving out of the nest. When did you move out?
I moved out. I was 20. How old am I? I'm 29. 27? Well, I was 28. It was one of those. It was right before my birthday.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much longer. It was one of those, 27 or 28.
I moved out when the first time I moved out. Because I done moved out, went back, moved out again, went back, moved out again.
I'm done.
So the first time that I moved out, it was a couple months before I turned 21. Mm-hmm. But I moved out, with my son's dad. I was pregnant and, about to have my first child and whatnot. And my boyfriend at the time was, being a little bug in my ear. We need our own space and da-da-da-da-da. Now, if we talking about what I was actually ready for, at that time, I was not thinking about moving out my mom's house, like at all. But of course, my mom was just like, are you ready for that? And then she's bringing up all the, well, what ifs and what if this or what if that? Or, yeah, he has a good job, but what if he loses that job? Will you be able to take care of the bills by yourself? And, me just thinking I know everything about the damn world. I'm sitting here telling her, I'm like, girl, like you're worrying about nothing. Like we're good. We are absolutely fine. The crazy part about all of that is everything that she tried to, warn me about. Mm-hmm. It all happened, honey. God came in and said, oh, but let me show you a thing or two. Girl. But one thing I will say is I'm glad that it happened then and not now.
Yeah, this is the truth.
Did you feel pressured to leave or were you just ready?
No pressure at all. My mom definitely wanted me to stay until I got married. Mm-hmm. Like hands down wanted me to stay until I was married and then go ahead and move then. So zero pressure at all, none. And really I was comfortable living with my mom and she was comfortable living with me. Like I'm the youngest child, so it was just me and her. Like we used to living with each other. She's not really strict. I ain't bother her. She ain't really bother me. I mean, we hung out. We would watch TV together and stuff like that. But if I wanted my own space, she'd let me have it.
Yeah.
So it was never like when I told her that I was gonna move out, she was just like,
why?
like
Where
I
are you
know I
going?
shocked her a whole day. Like she cried and tried to
Oh.
play it off like her allergies or something. Like she cried. She cried when I told her I was gonna move out because it was just I had just felt like it was time. Not even that I felt like I needed my own space to do anything. I just felt like I wanted to. Like I felt like maybe it's time for me to experience this.
Yeah.
If anything, if I say I felt pressure from anything, I feel like I probably felt more pressure from the world.
Yeah.
Than my actual mom. Like my mom definitely would rather you stay and be comfortable. And I was always that person growing up when, my friends moving out at 22 and 23 and they was doing this. The only time I had moved out other than this last time was when I moved out to go to college.
Yeah.
And that was it. I hadn't really moved. I had lived with my friend at one point for a couple months, but that was, I don't know how I count that. But I felt like I felt more pressure from everybody else, when you meet a guy and you got to tell him you live with your mom.
Right. Yes.
I felt more pressure from that than I ever did living with my mom.
I
for
agree.
Sure.
I agree. Well, I felt pressured by my baby daddy to move out, but my mom, her thing was basically, you can stay with me. This will always be your home. You can stay with me as long as you need to. The only thing that you need to make sure of is that you are either in school or you got a job. Anything else, of course, not disrespecting the house and stuff or her or nothing like that, but it was just like whatever.
Something.
Yeah, that was her thing. You need to be doing something because you're not about to be just laid up in my house doing
you're not
whatever.
A child anymore.
Yeah,
you're not a child. And my big thing was, even though I saw like my friends and everybody moving out, there was a certain lifestyle that I was accustomed to living. And if I could not afford said lifestyle, I was not moving. I did not want to move out and not be in a comfortable place.
Right.
I was used to living in a comfortable lifestyle. And if I moved out and I couldn't afford that, I was not, it was non-negotiable for me. I was not finna move out and not be in a comfortable place.
Exactly.
No, especially as a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
It's crazy out here.
It's crazy.
All right. So what was the worst thing about living with your parent as an adult?
Oh, the worst thing? If I had to pick anything, my mom is probably going to be like, what? The thing she did that annoyed me the most, and this is not even a bad thing now that I look at it as an adult, but she did this to me while I was an adult. My mom would constantly come in my room and say, "You good? You need anything?" Like, when I tell you, they used to eat at me because I'd be like, what the hell am I in here doing? What do I need? If I needed something, I would have just got up and got it. Like, that used to irk my soul.
She was just catering to her baby.
Oh, my God. Like, when she would do that, she'd come in like, you good? You good, G? And I'd be like, yeah. Like, I have an instant attitude. Like, I promise you. It will cut on like an instant attitude. And as soon as she would close the door, I'd be like, I'm like, that's not, when I think about it now, I'm like, girl, why the hell was you mad about that? Like,
right.
But at that time, that used to piss me all the way off. Like, I would be, because I'm just one of the people, I don't like a lot of small talk and small stuff. Oh, so I'd be like, what do you think I need? Like, what? Like, I'm in here listening to my music.
Irritated.
I'm trying to watch my show. You good?
See, me, My mom didn't really do anything because she just kind of just let me just be.
Mm-hmm.
Even my uncle, like, they just let me be. Like,
yeah.
But if anything, I was the one that was bothering them. I feel like,
oh, girls, and I'm really bad at that because my mom would come in there and try to talk to me like while I'm watching a show or something.
But then when you done,
I'll be like annoyed, like, girl, don't you see I'm trying to watch this show or something, whatever. But let her be in her room watching her show.
You would go in there and have a whole full-blown conversation.
And she won't blink an eye. She'll bring it up every now and then, like, you see how you came in here and I ain't even had no attitude with you. Like, she would do that to me. But I'm a brat, at the end of the day.
No, they didn't really bother me. If anything, I would say this was not at all at my uncle's house, but like at my mom's, because my siblings had access to the house, or if she not that my mom always had company, but if somebody was coming over for her or something, it like if I be in my groove and then somebody just come over to the house and it's just like, the fuck are you doing here? Like, get the fuck out. Like those times when I really just want to be by myself, it's like, oh my God, there's too much going on. Like, I don't even want to be around
the problem with the things that we're saying.
Yes.
Because this is her home.
Exactly. It's not yours, sis.
But you mad because she got company.
That's why I like being alone.
Mad that you brought somebody over. It's like, get over it.
Exactly. I wish he would.
Exactly. That's how your mama
I wish he would. Go to your room.
That's how your mama feel. Go to your damn room.
And when it came to stuff like that, my mama, she didn't give a shit. If she could see that I was irritated or mad about something, that's one thing my mom was very good at. She would ignore the fuck out of me.
No.
I'm like, girl, please. Okay, so the last one is, were you scared moving out?
No. I was too grown to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely wasn't scared at all. So I felt comfortable. I wasn't scared at all because I felt like I had gave myself time instead of rushing it. I gave myself time to do it. So no, I can't say I was scared.
No, I wasn't scared at all because I was moving in with a man. So he gonna protect me.
Girl, I have to protect me and the dog, child. I gotta fight for me and the dog. I'll be telling him stop barking at the other dogs because I'm gonna have to fight them.
Okay. No, for real. Let them cut up. So we're gonna go ahead and release into moving out. Should people be ashamed of living with their parents? I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
Because
there's no reason to be.
Like you said, you get so much of that just from society because there's all these standards, these societal standards that no real person really lives the fuck up to. And it's easier to point the finger at somebody else, especially if you got this going on over here, but their situation looks less than. But in all actualities, especially if we talk about when we was in our 20s, the people that was trying to make you feel bad for living with your parents, it's like, bitch, you struggling. So
honestly, I mean, I don't want to go to your roach apartment. I'm just saying, I don't want to be in your roach nest. So don't be mad at me because I'm still staying with my mama and them. Because that makes me think, Housewives of Potomac, how Candace's mom was like paying a part of like their house, their mortgage or something, and they tried to shame her.
Oh no, I don't watch that.
You don't watch that? Mm-hmm. They really tried to shame her, like, oh, she not even grown. Her mama's still paying her bills. Her and her fiance. Her mama's still paying part of her bills.
First of all, that's a fucking luxury, bitch.
I mean, I was sitting there like,
I would love for my mama to pay my bills.
So we do all this talk about, I want to do all this for my kids and generational wealth and all that.
But then when you got grown people that's reaping those benefits today,
it's a problem.
You throwing stones?
I would never be ashamed if my mom went to take care of me, my husband, my mama, or my daddy. You want to take care of me and my husband? You think I'm finna care about what these broke hoes and they broke mamas and daddies doing?
Your mom,
don't be mad because your mama
you're projecting that your mother can't.
Exactly.
That's what you're doing.
So I will have no reason to be ashamed that I am living with my mom. I got money in my pocket.
Exactly. Now, of course, you know, young kids, if we do have some 20-somethings, some early 20-somethings listening to this, it'll be like, nah, I can do it. I this, I that. Because you know, you just
they can use TikTok now and get famous, you know.
Yeah. But when you really get out here, it just be like, so this was what I was excited to do.
It's just not
this adulting
what it's cracked
shit
up to be, babes.
This adulting shit is not it. It's not it.
I'm grateful, but it's very not grateful. Like what you as a child you think is going to be a little bit different than it actually turns out to be.
See, as a child, you feel like because adults have freedom to do what they want to do when they want to do it, it just seems like it's so fun.
Because you're doing that as a child. You're fighting the whole childhood to be free.
Exactly. But in all actuality, bitch, you really can't do what you want to do. Bitch, if your funds ain't set up the way they need to be for you to pay your bills and
go out and be on the streets,
eating out. I mean, let's talk about that. Eating out is a luxury.
Expensive.
Very expensive. So it's just like, as a child, it's just like, oh my God, you get to do this and you get to do that. But then when it's handed to you on a silver platter, it just be like, everybody, I don't care who you is, what race, color, creed. Once you grown, it's like, ooh, I wish I could go back to high school. Everybody says that.
I've definitely thought it. My mom reminded me, I think.
Well, that is if you had the luxury of being a child in your adolescent years. Definitely. Because my mom, she made sure stay in a child's place. And honey, girl, I stayed in the child's place and had a fucking ball.
I was fighting to be grown. My mom reminded me this time that I had applied for this job at New York & Company. I don't remember how old I was. I might have been 16. And I got the job. I went to the workplace. The lady was having me do my paperwork or whatever. So I'm doing paper. This was at a mall. My mom and my cousin were walking around the mall while I was doing this. And the lady tells me, she looks at my ID. She's like, oh, you're not 18. And I was like, no, of course I put the right stuff on my application. So no, I'm not 18. She's like, oh, you have to be 18 and up to work here. Girl,
you were crushed.
You know I left out of there crying?
Correct. She couldn't get a job.
A job. Do you know how grateful I would be right now to not have to work? Baby, I was destroyed. Okay. Like, I was in the car just...
I know your mom was like, girl, kill it.
Like, girl, you already knew what you were crying about.
Exactly.
I've worked at fancy.
I've never fancied the idea of labor.
Oh, okay.
Manual.
I just meant the place was fancy. It wasn't no Forever 21 where people throwing clothes on the floor, being disrespectful.
Right.
These.
Okay, so your top 3 priorities to consider before moving out.
Finances, furniture, and be smart in picking your plans. Your light bill plan, your cable plan, all your plans. Be smart. Don't just pick this, and that. No. Shop around.
Right, yeah.
You need to look around, especially when it comes to that light bill. I mean, especially like I have friends that they come like, oh yeah, girl, my bill was almost $200. And I'm like, my bill was $30 this month.
How?
Because I shopped for a good plan. But I also did used to work for a light company. So I knew that I needed to shop for a good plan. I knew never pick the free weekends.
See,
I'm just telling you right
well,
now.
I got free nights.
Don't pick those either. Neither one. Because your kilowatt hour that you're going to pay in the day is not going to be worth the trade-off.
But
Because
see,
it's
they
normally a
told
higher kilowatt hour because they'll give you they give you nothing at night or weekend. But when you really sit back and look at the numbers, it really just evens out.
yeah,
Honestly. Unless you truly never gonna be never gonna be at home in the day. Shop around. Do your research. Do your research on furniture too. Yeah. Don't just buy the bed from here because that same bed you could probably find it somewhere cheaper.
Exactly.
You know, just look around before you give your money. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I would say, of course, finances, number one. And I guess this kind of goes with that, but you need to be practicing some type of discipline and money management before you move out. So it's not so much of a not culture shock, but like just a shock to you when you got all these bills coming in and your account ain't necessarily reflecting the expenses that need to be paid. You need to make sure that once you kind of like when you are shopping around to move out, when you're getting these different figures of how much it's going to cost, you need to at least, tally up an estimate sheet. Now, a lot of people won't do this, but you need to tally up like an estimate sheet to at least see what your monthly expenses are going to be. And then you need to work out a system to where every check you get, you taking out a certain amount of money towards your bill. So it's not you're living paycheck to paycheck to the point where it's like you get your second paycheck of the month and then that all of that money is going to the rent. Say I already have the money in my account for next month. I'm still putting that money to the side every time I get paid. So when every time the new month comes up, you should have 2 month worth of bills in that account.
Another good thing is, and this is what I tend to do, a lot of apartments complexes will give you like a free month or a free 2 months or whatever. Just
still pay that bill.
Just pay it because then now the residual months you won't have to pay as much. Because you just pay.
You always gonna be a month ahead.
You'll always be a month ahead, but not only that, because it's free, you'll have a big credit. Yeah. So your next month's bill will actually be lower because it's gonna pull a piece of that credit, and you pay the rest. So that's something else to try out.
Yeah. So I said finances, some type of money management prior to moving out. I would say the third thing would be when it comes to like utilities. This is really kind of like cable for real. I mean, you need to pay attention to what your pattern is now. So you're not out here just paying, bills that you don't even necessarily use. Like, be smart about that.
Don't get cable.
Because
I don't streaming services for you to be paying.
I don't even do cable. I have not done cable basically since the very first time I moved out. After that, no.
You do not need a cable box. You can get you I have Sling, so I can still watch cable TV, but it's just $40 a month versus me having to pay almost $110 to have 2 cable boxes and all of this. Exactly. You don't need it. Okay.
Save a Roku TV.
Right. Get you a Roku TV. Download you an app, and you can record through there and everything.
Exactly.
You do not need cable.
But yeah, that's just what I have off the top of my head. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's something else that's more important. But we're gonna move on anyway. The last question is it absurd to expect a 20-year-old to be financially stable enough to pay bills?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Most 20-year-olds, you're still in college anyway.
You're still a child.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask
A lot
me.
of times you're not even graduated from college yet, so no. And then even when you do graduate from college,
you ain't ready.
You know, you still have to try to navigate. You know what I'm saying? And
because you were still kind of living in a crutch type situation. Even though you were free to do what you wanted to do, you wasn't necessarily, this is as far as staying on campus. That's kind of like living at home with your parents.
Right.
But better.
I mean, it's kind of like living at home with your parents because you're not paying for it, but you are.
Yeah.
Because those student
you're gonna pay for that later.
You're
gonna pay for it after.
So it's like
fact.
You are paying for it, but you're not. You're not thinking about it like that, but in a way.
Yeah.
Or some of y'all are paying for it because you have to give your refund right back to it. So
exactly.
It just depends on your situation, but it's definitely absurd. At 20, it's. Don't move out unless there's a real necessity.
That's what I was just about to say. That basically sums this.
Yeah.
That sums this up to the moral of the story, which is, don't be out here rushing to move out to impress
your
peers.
Friends. I mean,
because at the end of the day, your peers are not paying your fucking bills. Okay. Before we get on to the random of the day, make sure that y'all following the Instagram page at But What Is Life podcast. Make sure that y'all are sending in some suggestions if you need some help with a certain situation, just would like to hear another perspective. You can always send those inquiries in, and we will definitely go over them in an episode. That could be another segment of the episode if y'all want to do that. Actually, I'm holding you to it. Send in some suggestions. It don't even necessarily got to be nothing that you going through. It could just be something that you saw, and you may want to hear us weigh in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out there. You can send that to butwhatislifepodcast@gmail.com, or hell, hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, YouTube comments, YouTube messages, all that. Like, please hit your girl up because I want to engage. Okay, let's engage. It's more fun when you have more than one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more fun. But yeah, go ahead and do that. But going on to the random of the day. When you get married, will you change, hyphenate, or keep your last name?
Change.
I think I'm going to hyphenate mine.
I don't need it. Oh, nothing against my daddy and y'all, my family. I just don't need it anymore. I'm his now. I'm his now, I'm sorry. But what am I hyphenating it for?
Well, no. I mean, not hyphenate. Not hyphenate. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move my last name to my middle name.
Oh, girl, I don't even remember my middle name most days.
See, I don't necessarily like my middle name. So.
I don't like mine either, but I just forget that it's there. We just gonna drop it off. Deuces. I'll be like, bye, name. Bye.
I don't know why I want to do that though.
I have no attachment to my last name.
I feel like that would be shedding a part of my identity. I feel like
my identity is Dominique just by itself. Like, even though people call me by my last name sometimes, I still feel like my identity is just the first name.
Mm-hmm. See, me and my sisters, like, growing up, yeah, that's a mess.
Girl, I was
growing up, see, our initials were a thing.
Like,
you know?
It's attached to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the people that call me by my last name, you would just have to change it. I pray I get a good last name, whatever the new one gonna be. I pray it's good. That's all that's in my prayer. Please give me a good last name.
Please give me a good last name.
I don't want to get like a.
Yeah, I hope I do get a good last name.
I don't want no.
I always used to want to be a Washington. Why? I don't know. Washington or Johnson?
Who was it that I said had a good? Oh, you know who I said had a good last name?
Who?
Chestnut.
Oh yeah.
That is a perfect last. How do you get that? Dominique Chestnut. Like it's a good.
Yours.
It's a good one.
Yours is a thing.
Maurice, if you ever
that really has a ring to it. You better find you a chestnut.
Girl, if Morris ever decides,
I don't think he's going to decide that.
He could be
because they have been together for years.
I don't wish that on anybody. I'm just
honey. She would have to pass on.
Oh, we rebuke that. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
But if he has a brother,
yeah,
that is
definitely,
and looks exactly maybe a twin.
I don't think he.
Sometimes they have a long.
We would have saw a Morris number 2.
A lot of people didn't know what's her name had a twin from Why Did I Get Married?
Who?
Tasha.
I did.
Her name.
I did.
But a lot of people didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was a known thing.
No, a lot of people did not know she had a twin. But they are very hard to tell apart.
Yeah.
So I can understand.
They identical.
Yeah, they are very hard to tell apart. So I can get that. So Morris, if you have a twin or you just know somebody,
the fact that
I
you
could
just really
go on Legal Zoom and just change it to Chestnut.
I mean, that's the thing. You can change your name to whatever you want to change it to.
Oh.
Speaking of names, I always wanted my name to be Justice. Like, ever since I was a kid, I would be like, why did you name me that, Mom? Like, why did you name me that? My name is so boring. Like, it's boring, it's common, and it's just like, why? Like, my name should be Justice.
Justice.
Like Justice. Justice.
No.